The sleek diplomatic vessel Harmony glided through the purple-tinged atmosphere of Zephyria, its iridescent hull reflecting the light of the planet's twin suns. Inside, Ambassador Elena Chen stood at the viewport, her dark eyes scanning the alien landscape below. After decades of long-distance communication, humanity was finally making first physical contact with the Zephyrians. "Nervous, Ambassador?" Captain Rajesh Patil asked, joining her at the window. Elena smiled, her expression a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "A little. It's not every day you represent your entire species to an alien civilization." As the Harmony descended towards the designated landing zone, the crew marveled at the architecture of the Zephyrian capital. Towering spires of crystalline material stretched into the sky, connected by gossamer-thin bridges that seemed to defy gravity. The city appeared to be one massive, interconnected organism, pulsing with energy and life. The ship touched down on a circular platform surrounded by a sea of expectant Zephyrians. Elena took a deep breath, straightened her formal attire, and nodded to Captain Patel. "Let's make history." As the airlock hissed open, Elena led the small delegation of humans onto Zephyrian soil. The aliens before them were a striking sight. Tall, willowy beings with luminescent skin that shifted colors like the surface of a soap bubble. Their large, multifaceted eyes regarded the humans with unmistakable curiosity. A Zephyrian stepped forward, its skin pulsing with gentle blue hues. "Greetings, Ambassador Chen. I am Salax, first emissary of the Zephyrian Consortium. Welcome to our world." Elena bowed slightly, careful to follow the protocols they had studied. "Thank you, Emissary Salax. On behalf of Earth and all of humanity, we are honored to be here." As the formal greetings concluded, Elena couldn't help but notice the fragility of the Zephyrians. Their movements were graceful but cautious, as if the slightest breeze might knock them over. It was a stark contrast to the robust physicality of the human delegation. The next few days were a whirlwind of diplomatic meetings, cultural exchanges, and scientific discussions. The humans learned that despite their physical fragility, the Zephyrians possessed technology far beyond Earth's capabilities. They had mastered anti-gravity, developed near-instantaneous communication across vast distances, and created materials that could adapt and heal like living tissue. However, it became clear that the Zephyrians' advanced technology was a necessity born of their physical limitations. They were a species ill-equipped to handle the harsh realities of their own world, let alone the rigors of space travel. During a tour of a Zephyrian research facility, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the mission's lead scientist, engaged in a fascinating conversation with her alien counterpart, senior researcher Xylith. "Your resilience is remarkable," Xylith commented, its skin shimmering with tones of green and gold. "We observe your team functioning normally in areas of our world that would be challenging for us, even with protective gear." Yuki nodded, intrigued. "We've evolved to adapt to a wide range of environments on Earth. It's interesting to see how differently our species have developed." As the days passed, both humans and Zephyrians found themselves reevaluating their preconceptions. The aliens marveled at the humans' physical capabilities and adaptability, while the Earth delegation was in awe of Zephyrian technology and their profound connection to their environment. Elena, in her personal log, reflected on the experience. "It's humbling to realize that despite our differences, we share so much with the Zephyrians. Their pursuit of knowledge, their capacity for wonder, their desire for peaceful coexistence. It all feels so familiar, yet there's so much we can learn from each other. This is just the beginning of what I hope will be a long and fruitful relationship between our worlds." Little did Elena know that their budding friendship would soon be put to the test in ways none of them could have anticipated. As the twin suns of Zephyria set on another day of successful diplomacy, a series of events was about to unfold that would challenge both species and redefine their place in the cosmos. The human delegation retired to their quarters that evening, tired but exhilarated by the day's events. They were unaware that deep beneath the crystalline city, tectonic pressures were building. setting the stage for a catastrophe that would reveal the true nature of both humans and Zephyrians. As Ambassador Chen drifted off to sleep, she couldn't shake the feeling that their mission to Zephyria was about to take an unexpected turn. The true test of their newfound alliance was yet to come, and it would require strengths that neither species fully understood they possessed. The incident. The Grand Hall of the Zephyrian Science Academy buzzed with excitement. It was the third day of the cultural exchange program, and both humans and Zephyrians were eager to share their knowledge. Ambassador Elena Chen stood at the podium, her voice carrying across the cavernous space as she discussed Earth's efforts in environmental conservation. While we've made great strides in reversing the damage done to our planet, we still have much to learn, Elena said, her eyes scanning the rapt audience. We hope that by sharing our experiences, both triumphs and failures, we can work together towards a more sustainable future for both our worlds. As Elena concluded her speech, a ripple of color swept through the Zephyrian attendees, their equivalent of applause. Dr. Yuki Tanaka smiled from her seat in the front row, proud of how far they'd come in just a few days. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shuddered. At first, it was barely noticeable, but within seconds, the tremors intensified. The crystalline structures of the hall began to resonate, filling the air with an eerie, high-pitched whine. Panic erupted among the Zephyrians. Their fragile bodies were ill-equipped to handle the violent shaking, and many stumbled or fell. The humans, caught off guard, but better able to maintain their balance, looked to Elena for guidance. "Everyone stay calm," Elena shouted, her diplomatic training kicking in. "We need to evacuate in an orderly fashion." Captain Patel, who had been standing near the exit, quickly took charge. "Tanaka, Chen, help me get these people out of here." The human delegation sprang into action. They moved swiftly through the panicking crowd, helping fallen Zephyrians to their feet and guiding them towards the exits. The aliens watched in astonishment as the humans navigated the chaos with surprising agility and strength. Dr. Tanaka found herself supporting Zilith, the senior researcher she had befriended. "Lean on me," she urged, her arm around the alien's waist. "We'll get through this together." Outside, the scene was one of devastation. The once majestic spires of the Zephyrian capital swayed dangerously, some already beginning to crumble. The gossamer bridges connecting the buildings had snapped, leaving many structures isolated. "It's a quake," one of the human geologists shouted. "Magnitude 8, at least." Elena's mind raced. Their briefings had mentioned that Zephyria was tectonically active, but nothing of this scale had been predicted. She watched in horror as a nearby tower began to collapse, threatening to crush a group of fleeing Zephyrians. Without hesitation, Captain Patel sprinted towards the danger. With strength that seemed almost superhuman to the watching aliens, he scooped up 2 young Zephyrians and leaped clear of the falling debris. The rest of the human team followed suit, their earthborn physiques allowing them to perform feats of rescue that left the Zephyrians in awe. As the quake continued to ravage the city, the true extent of the Zephyrians' vulnerability became clear. Their advanced technology, so impressive just hours before, now lay in ruins around them. Emergency systems failed, and the aliens found themselves at the mercy of their planet's fury. In the midst of the chaos, Elena made a crucial decision. "We need to get as many people as possible to the Harmony," she commanded. "It's built to withstand much worse than this." The human team coordinated their efforts, creating a makeshift evacuation plan on the spot. They formed human chains to traverse gaps in the crumbling infrastructure, carried injured Zephyrians on their backs, and used their superior strength to clear paths through the debris. Hours passed, and the quake finally subsided. The beautiful crystalline city lay in ruins, but thanks to the humans' quick thinking and physical capabilities, thousands of Zephyrians had been saved. As the dust settled, Elena found Salax amid the wreckage of what had once been the Science Academy. The first emissary's luminescent skin was dim, pulsing weakly with muted colors of distress and exhaustion. "Ambassador Chen, Xalax's voice was barely above a whisper. We had no idea you were capable of such things. You saved so many of us today." Elena knelt beside the alien, her own body aching from the day's exertions. "It's what any of us would have done." "Xalax, we're just grateful we could help." As emergency crews, both Zephyrian and human, continued to work through the night, a new understanding began to dawn on both species. The humans, with their robust physicality and adaptability, had proven to be far more than just diplomatic guests. They were, in many ways, the saviors that Zephyria never knew it needed. Dr. Tanaka, tending to injured Zephyrians aboard the Harmony, couldn't help but reflect on the day's events. It's ironic. She mused to Captain Patel, who was helping distribute supplies. "We came here to learn from their advanced technology. But in the end, it was our basic physical abilities that made the difference." Patel nodded, his expression thoughtful. "True, but don't forget. It's their technology that built this incredible world in the first place. Imagine what we could achieve if we combined our strengths." As the twin suns of Zephyria rose on a changed landscape, both humans and Zephyrians knew that their relationship had been irrevocably transformed. The incident had revealed not just the humans' physical capabilities, but also their courage, quick thinking, and unwavering commitment to helping others. In the days to come, as the full impact of the disaster became clear, the Zephyrians would look to their human allies with new eyes. And the humans, for their part, would begin to understand the true purpose of their mission to this distant world. It was not just about diplomatic niceties or technological exchange. It was about forging a partnership that could withstand any challenge the universe might throw at them. The incident had set the stage for a new chapter in interstellar relations, one that would push both species to redefine their understanding of strength, resilience, and the true meaning of advanced civilization. Scientific curiosity. In the weeks following the devastating quake, Zephyria's capital slowly began to rebuild. The disaster had reshaped more than just the physical landscape. It had fundamentally altered the relationship between humans and Zephyrians. What had begun as a diplomatic mission had evolved into a collaborative effort of recovery and scientific exploration. Dr. Yuki Tanaka found herself at the center of this new dynamic. The Zephyrian Science Academy, or what remained of it, had been temporarily relocated to a series of interconnected biodomes on the outskirts of the city. It was here that Yuki, along with a team of human and Zephyrian scientists, began an intensive study into the physiological differences between their species. "The cellular density of human muscle tissue is fascinating," Xylith commented, its skin flickering with hues of deep blue, a sign of intense concentration. The alien researcher was examining a holographic projection of human musculature, comparing it to Zephyrian physiology. Yuki nodded, equally engrossed in the data. "And look at the difference in bone structure. Our skeletal system evolved to support much greater mass and withstand higher impacts." Their research wasn't just academic curiosity. The Zephyrians, humbled by their vulnerability during the quake, were eager to understand how they might enhance their own resilience. Meanwhile, the humans were captivated by the Zephyrians' unique biology, particularly their ability to communicate through bioluminescence and their symbiotic relationship with their environment. In another section of the research facility, Captain Patel was undergoing a series of physical tests designed to measure human capabilities in Zephyria's environment. He sprinted on a treadmill, his vitals monitored by an array of Zephyrian sensors. "Incredible," murmured senior researcher Calyx, watching the readings. "Even in our higher gravity, the human body adapts quickly. Your cardiovascular system is already compensating for the increased strain." Patel, catching his breath, grinned at the alien scientist. "Wait until you see what we can do in lower gravity. Ever heard of parkour?" As the days passed, the exchange of knowledge accelerated. The humans shared insights into their diverse ecosystems and the evolutionary pressures that had shaped their species. The Zephyrians, in turn, revealed the intricacies of their technology, much of which was bio-inspired and integrated seamlessly with their environment. One breakthrough came when Dr. Tanaka's team discovered that human sweat, a novelty to the Zephyrians, contained compounds that could potentially enhance the aliens' fragile exoskeletons. If we can synthesize this and adapt it to Zephyrian biology, Yuki explained to an excited group of researchers, we might be able to increase your natural resilience to environmental stresses. The implications were staggering. For the Zephyrians, it meant the possibility of exploring parts of their own world that had previously been off-limits due to their physical limitations. For the humans, it opened up new avenues in bioengineering and adaptive materials. Ambassador Elena Chen, observing the feverish pace of scientific collaboration, couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and wonder. She confided in Salax during one of their now frequent meetings, when we first arrived, I hoped for peaceful coexistence and maybe some cultural exchange. I never imagined this level of cooperation. Hazelex's skin rippled with warm golden tones, a sign of agreement and contentment. The incident showed us that true strength lies not just in advanced technology, but in adaptability and mutual support. Your people have taught us much about resilience, Ambassador Chen. As the research progressed, both species began to see the potential for groundbreaking advancements. The humans' robust physiology, combined with Zephyrian biotech, promised solutions to problems both worlds faced. Climate adaptation, space exploration, and medical breakthroughs were suddenly within reach. However, not all the discoveries were comfortable ones. The humans learned that their presence had unintended consequences on Zephiria's delicate ecosystem. Their stronger electromagnetic fields disrupted some of the planet's natural communication systems, and their denser bodies left heavier footprints, both literally and figuratively, on the environment. This realization led to a new branch of research focused on developing adaptive technologies that would allow humans to interact more harmoniously with alien environments. We need to be able to dial down our impact, Dr. Tanaka explained during a project briefing. To become more Zephyrian when the situation calls for it. The Zephyrians, for their part, were working on enhancing their own capabilities without losing the unique attributes that define their species. It was a delicate balance, gaining strength and resilience while maintaining their deep connection to their world. As the twin suns set on another day of breakthrough discoveries, Alina found herself standing with Salax on a balcony overlooking the partially rebuilt city. The capital's new structures incorporated both human and Zephyrian design principles, a physical manifestation of their growing partnership. We've come so far, Alina mused, but I can't help feeling we've only scratched the surface. Kazelax's skin shimmered with a complex pattern that Alina had come to recognize as thoughtful anticipation. Indeed, Ambassador, our journey together is just beginning. And yet, the alien paused, its colors shifting to a more serious tone. I fear that our rapid progress may have attracted unwanted attention. Elena turned to face the first emissary, her expression concerned. What do you mean, Salax? Our long-range sensors have detected unusual activity at the edge of our star system. Salax explained. We believe we may not be alone out here, and not all who wander the cosmos share our peaceful intentions. As the implications of Salax's words sank in, Alina realized that their scientific curiosity had led them to the threshold of an even greater challenge. The bond forged between humans and Zephyrians was about to face its ultimate test, and the fate of both their worlds might hang in the balance. The scientific breakthroughs they had achieved together were impressive, but would they be enough to face an unknown threat from the depths of space? As Alina pondered this, she knew that the next phase of their interspecies cooperation would be crucial not just for scientific advancement, but potentially for their very survival. Interspecies cooperation. The revelation of a potential threat lurking at the edges of the Zephyrian star system cast a shadow over the scientific triumphs of the past weeks. Ambassador Elena Chen found herself in an emergency meeting with the highest-ranking officials from both Earth and Zephyria. conducted via holographic projection to include the human leadership back on Earth. The anomalies detected by our deep space array are unlike anything we've encountered before, Xalax explained, its skin pulsing with hues of deep purple, a color the humans had learned to associate with grave concern. They appear to be artificially created distortions in spacetime, consistent with extremely advanced propulsion systems. Captain Patel, who had been invited to the meeting for his tactical expertise, leaned forward. How much time do we have before they reach Scifi? At their current velocity, approximately 3 Earth months, replied Xylith, who had taken charge of the monitoring efforts. The next hours were a flurry of strategic planning and diplomatic negotiations. It was clear that neither humans nor Zephyrians could face this potential threat alone. Their newfound partnership would be put to the ultimate test. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, along with a joint team of human and Zephyrian scientists, was tasked with accelerating their research into adaptive technologies. If these are indeed hostile visitors, Yuki addressed her team, we need to be prepared for any environment they might bring with them. Our ability to adapt quickly could be our greatest weapon. The following weeks saw an unprecedented level of cooperation between the two species. The humans shared their military strategies and combat training, while the Zephyrians brought their advanced technology to bear on the problem. One breakthrough came in the form of a neural interface that allowed humans to tap into the Zephyrians' bioluminescent communication network. It's like seeing emotions, marveled Alina as she tested the device for the first time. The ability to understand Zephyrian communication on a deeper level proved invaluable in coordinating their joint efforts. Meanwhile, Captain Patel worked with Zephyrian engineers to enhance their defensive capabilities. By combining Earth's robust materials science with Zephyrian energy manipulation technology, they developed shields that could withstand impacts far greater than anything either species had created before. It's not just about strength, Patel explained during a test demonstration. It's about flexibility and responsiveness, like a martial artist who redirects an opponent's energy. As the deadline approached, tensions ran high. The once peaceful Zephyrian society had to grapple with the concept of conflict on a scale they had never imagined. Humans, drawing on their long and often tragic history of warfare, found themselves in the uncomfortable position of preparing another species for potential violence. We're not just defending Zephyria, Alina reminded her team during a particularly stressful strategy session. We're standing up for the principles of peaceful cooperation that brought us together in the first place. The true game changer came from an unexpected source. A young Zephyrian researcher, inspired by studying human adrenal responses, proposed a method of temporarily boosting Zephyrian physical capabilities. By stimulating certain bioluminescent nodes, they could trigger a surge of strength and resilience in their normally fragile bodies. It's not a permanent solution, the researcher explained, her skin flickering with excitement, but it could give us the edge we need in a critical moment. The day of the anticipated encounter arrived with a tense atmosphere hanging over the rebuilt Zephyrian capital. Humans and Zephyrians stood side by side in the newly constructed defense center, their differences overshadowed by their shared purpose. As the unknown vessels entered the star system, a collective hush fell over the control room. The first images transmitted back were unlike anything they had expected. The ships, if they could be called that, were massive organic-looking structures that seemed to phase in and out of normal space-time. "They're beautiful," whispered Xalax, voicing the thoughts of many in the room. Elena nodded, but kept her focus on the task at hand. "Let's hope they're friendly. Initiate first contact protocols." What followed was a tense hour of attempted communication. The visitors, which they came to know as the Vorax, were indeed a spacefaring species. However, their intentions were not hostile. They were explorers and scientists, drawn to the unique binary star system of Zephyria. The potential crisis transformed into a momentous first contact scenario. As discussions progressed, it became clear that the Vorax were fascinated by the cooperation they witnessed between humans and Zephyrians. "You have achieved something rare in the galaxy," The Vorax representative communicated through a hastily adapted translation matrix. Two species, so different, working as one. This is worth studying. The relief in the control room was palpable, but Alina and Salax knew their work was far from over. The arrival of the Vorax opened up new avenues of diplomatic and scientific exchange, but it also presented challenges. How would this new species fit into the delicate balance they had struck between human and Zephyrian society? As the initial meetings with the Vorax concluded, Alina found a moment alone with Salax. The first emissary's skin was cycling through a complex array of colors, a sign of deep contemplation. "We prepared for the worst," Alina said, "but in doing so, we may have achieved our best. Our partnership is stronger than ever." Salax's colors settled into a warm golden glow. "Indeed, Ambassador. And now we face a new frontier together. The galaxy, it seems, is far more diverse and wondrous than either of our species imagined." As they looked out at the Vorax ships hovering in the Zephyrian sky, both Alina and Salax knew that this was just the beginning. The cooperation between humans and Zephyrians had not only prepared them for a potential threat, but had opened the door to a broader cosmic community. The challenges ahead were many, but for the first time, they faced them not as separate species, but as united explorers of the universe. The true test of their partnership was yet to come, as they stepped into a larger galactic stage, ready to learn, adapt, and grow together. A new era. 5 years had passed since the arrival of the Vorax, and the landscape of interstellar relations had been forever altered. The capital city of Zephyria, once a singular marvel of crystalline architecture, now stood as a testament to the power of diverse collaboration. Gleaming spires of Zephyrian crystal intertwined with sturdy Earth-inspired structures, while Vorax bioorganic habitats pulsed with otherworldly light. Ambassador Alina Chen, now serving as Earth's representative to the newly formed Trilateral Galactic Council, stood on the observation deck of the orbital station, Harmony's Nexus. Below her, the marbled surface of Zephyria shimmered, while shuttles from 3 different species wove an intricate dance in the space around her. "Quite a view, isn't it?" came a familiar voice. Alina turned to see Salax, its skin rippling with hues of contentment and pride. "It never gets old," Alina agreed, smiling at her old friend. "Sometimes I still can't believe how far we've come." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Joax, the Vorax liaison. The tall, ethereal being seemed to shimmer in and out of focus, a trait that had initially unnerved many humans and Zephyrians, but had now become a welcome sight. "Apologies for the intrusion," Joax communicated, its thoughts translating seamlessly through the advanced neural interfaces they all wore. "The Council is ready to begin the session on the Galactic University proposal." As they made their way to the council chambers, Alina reflected on the monumental changes of the past 5 years. The initial wariness between the 3 species had gradually given way to a synergy that was reshaping their understanding of the universe. The Galactic University was just one of many joint projects. It aimed to be a hub of interspecies learning, where the unique strengths and perspectives of each race could be shared and built upon. Humans would teach physical adaptability and creative problem-solving. Zephyrians would share their mastery of bio-integrated technology and environmental harmonization, while the Vorax would offer insights into higher-dimensional physics and cosmic navigation. The council session was long but productive. As discussions wound down, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, now the head of Xenobiology Studies, presented the latest findings from the ongoing physiological exchange program. By combining Zephyrian bioluminescent communication, human neuroplasticity, and Vorax phase-shifting abilities, we're on the brink of developing a form of universal translation that goes beyond mere words, Yuki explained, her excitement palpable. "We're talking about the potential for true empathic understanding across species." The implications were staggering. Such technology could revolutionize diplomacy, scientific cooperation, and cultural exchange on a galactic scale. As the session concluded, Captain Rajesh Patel, who had transitioned into a role as Chief of Interspecies Security, approached Elena with news. "The Joint Deep Space Expedition is ready for launch," he reported. "It's the first of its kind, a crew composed of all three species venturing into uncharted regions of the galaxy." Elena nodded, feeling a mix of pride and apprehension. "Let's hope our preparation is enough. There's no telling what they might encounter out there." The launch of the expedition ship, Triad Explorer, was a spectacle that drew observers from all three worlds. As the sleek vessel, a marvel of combined technologies, rose from the Zephyrian surface, Elena couldn't help but remember the day she first set foot on this alien world. "Did you ever imagine it would lead to this?" she asked Selax, who stood beside her watching the launch. The Zephyrian's skin flickered with a pattern that Elena had come to recognize as wry amusement. "Truthfully, I was more concerned with whether your presence would disrupt our sensitive ecosystems. Now look at us, partners in galactic exploration." The success of the Human-Zephyrian Vorax alliance had not gone unnoticed in the wider galaxy. Other species were reaching out, some with offers of trade, others seeking protection or knowledge. The alliance found itself at the center of a rapidly expanding network of interstellar relationships. However, challenges remained. Cultural misunderstandings still occurred, and the physical differences between the species sometimes led to logistical hurdles. There were also concerns about the pace of technological advancement and its impact on each species' unique identity. "We must ensure that in our quest for unity, we do not lose the diversity that makes our alliance strong," Elena often reminded the Council. As the years passed, the benefits of their cooperation became increasingly evident. Zephyrian cities were now more resilient, protected by human-inspired architecture and Vorax energy fields. Earth's environmental challenges were being addressed with Zephyrian biointegration techniques, and the Vorax, once solitary explorers, were learning the value of community and shared purpose. On the 10th anniversary of first contact between humans and Zephyrians, a grand celebration was held. Representatives from dozens of newly contacted species attended, turning the event into a showcase of galactic diversity. As Elena prepared to give her address, she looked out at the assembled crowd. A tapestry of colors, shapes, and forms she could never have imagined a decade ago. She thought back to that first step onto Zephyrian soil, the fear and wonder she had felt, and the incredible journey that had followed. 10 years ago, two species took a chance on understanding each other, she began, her words translated and broadcast across 3 worlds and beyond. "Today, we stand as a beacon of hope in a vast and wondrous galaxy. We have learned that our differences are not obstacles, but opportunities, that the challenges we face are not burdens, but chances to grow stronger together." She paused, looking at Xalax and Joax, whom nodded encouragingly. "As we move forward into this new era of galactic cooperation, let us remember the lessons of Zephyria. That strength comes in many forms, that adaptability is key to survival, and that the greatest discoveries happen when we open our hearts and minds to those different from ourselves." As Elena's words echoed across the stars, she knew that this was just the beginning. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and together, humans, Zephyrians, Vorax, and whoever else they might meet, they were ready to explore it. The dawn of a new galactic age had begun, born from an unexpected encounter on a distant, purple-skied world.